What if one of the simplest ways to make the next few months a little less stressful is already sitting on the shelves of your local grocery store? As August comes to an end, many everyday foods are still affordable, widely available, and easy to store. But prices can change, seasonal demand can shift, and some items may become less convenient to find. That doesn't mean you need to panic buy or fill your home with food you'll never use. Instead, think of it as building a practical grocery buffer, foods your household already eats, items with a reasonable shelf life, and staples that can make a difference when shopping becomes more expensive or inconvenient. So, before August ends, here are 12 groceries worth considering for your pantry, freezer, and everyday meals. Smart grocery shopping isn't about predicting exactly what will happen next. It's about creating a little breathing room, keeping a few extra staples on hand can reduce unnecessary trips to the store, help you handle temporary shortages, and give you more flexibility when prices change. The key is choosing foods that are useful, affordable, easy to store, and familiar enough that your household will actually eat them. With that in mind, let's look at some of the most practical options to consider before your next grocery trip. Section 1. Rice is one of the simplest pantry staples to keep on hand. It's versatile, easy to prepare, and works with vegetables, beans, meat, eggs, and countless other meals. White rice can also remain usable for a long time when stored properly in a cool, dry place. If your household already eats rice regularly, picking up an extra bag or two can be a practical way to build a small food reserve without dramatically changing your normal shopping routine. And because rice can become the base of so many different meals, it gives you plenty of flexibility when you're working with whatever ingredients are already in the kitchen. Section 2. Dried beans. Flexibility becomes even more useful when you pair rice with another simple pantry staple, dried beans. Dried beans provide protein, fiber, and carbohydrates while generally costing less than many other protein sources. Black beans, kidney beans, pinto beans, lentils, and chickpeas can all be used in soups, stews, rice dishes, and everyday meals. They also take up relatively little storage space, making them useful when you're trying to build a basic pantry without filling every shelf. Together, a few bags of dried beans can turn an ordinary pantry into a much more versatile one. Section 3. Pasta. If beans and rice offer flexibility, pasta brings something different to the equation: convenience. It cooks quickly, requires only a few additional ingredients, and can become a complete meal with tomato sauce, canned vegetables, beans, cheese, or leftover meat. If pasta is already part of your normal diet, adding a few extra packages during a regular grocery trip is an easy way to increase your pantry supply without buying something unfamiliar. It's simple, inexpensive, and easy to work into meals you already know. Sometimes the most useful food to have in reserve is simply the food you already know how to prepare. Section 4. Canned tomatoes. That idea of familiar, flexible ingredients applies especially well to canned tomatoes. They're easy to overlook, but they can quietly become one of the most useful items in a pantry. Canned tomatoes can form the base of pasta sauce, soup, chili, or stew, turning a handful of basic ingredients into a much more complete meal. Unlike fresh tomatoes, canned varieties can be stored for much longer, making them useful when fresh produce isn't available or simply becomes too expensive. The important part is choosing cans your family will actually use. A pantry reserve is only valuable when the ingredients can become meals. Section 5. Canned vegetables. The same principle applies to canned vegetables. Corn, peas, green beans, carrots, and mixed vegetables can be added to soups, rice dishes, casseroles, and quick meals when fresh produce isn't available. They won't replace fresh produce completely, but they can serve as a convenient backup when a grocery trip gets delayed. A few cans in the pantry can mean one less reason to make an extra trip when you're already working with the ingredients you have at home. It's a small addition, but it can give you more options when your refrigerator is running low. Section 6. Oats. For breakfast and beyond. Oats are another inexpensive staple worth considering. They're filling, flexible, and surprisingly useful. They're an obvious choice for oatmeal, but they can also be used for overnight oats, homemade granola, baking, and even savory meals. A container of oats also takes up relatively little storage space. If your household eats oatmeal regularly, making sure you have enough to last several weeks can be a simple way to strengthen your pantry without spending much. And because oats can work across several different meals, they don't have to sit forgotten on a shelf. Section 7. Peanut butter. Another food that combines convenience with versatility is peanut butter. It provides calories, fat, and protein, and requires little preparation. You can spread it on bread, add it to oatmeal, blend it into smoothies, or simply have it as a quick snack. That makes it useful not only as a pantry staple, but also as an easy option when you don't have much time to prepare something. Still, the same rule applies here as with everything else on this list. Check the expiration date and buy an amount your household can realistically consume. Stocking up only makes sense when the food actually gets eaten. Section 8. Flour. For households that cook or bake regularly, flour can be another practical addition. It's useful for much more than baking bread. Flour can be used for pancakes, biscuits, sauces, homemade pizza, and many other recipes. If you regularly bake or cook from scratch, keeping an additional bag available can save you from making an unexpected trip to the store later. There is one important consideration. Though, flour has a shorter storage life than some dry staples. So proper storage matters. Buy what you can reasonably use, and keep it stored appropriately. The goal isn't to fill the pantry. It's to keep useful ingredients available when you need them. Section 9. Cooking oil. Some pantry ingredients are easy to overlook until you suddenly need them. Cooking oil is a perfect example. It's used for frying eggs, roasting vegetables, making sauces, and preparing countless everyday meals. Because it's so common, it's also easy to forget about until the bottle in your kitchen is nearly empty. Keeping one unopened bottle in reserve can provide a useful little buffer and prevent an otherwise simple grocery item from becoming an unexpected problem. Just remember to store it away from heat and direct sunlight. Section 10. Canned tuna or other shelf-stable proteina. Pantry becomes much more useful when it contains a few reliable sources of protein. Canned tuna, canned chicken, sardines, and similar shelf-stable products can be added to sandwiches, salads, pasta, or rice. They provide an easy protein option without requiring refrigeration before opening. That can make them especially convenient for quick meals or days when you don't have many fresh ingredients available. But there's no advantage to stocking up on something your household won't eat. Choose varieties you already enjoy and build your reserve around foods that fit your normal meals. Section 11. Broth and stock. Sometimes a small pantry item can make several other ingredients more useful. Broth and stock are good examples. Combine broth with rice, beans, vegetables, and seasonings, and you can create a simple, filling soup. They're also useful for cooking grains, making sauces, and adding flavor to everyday dishes. Keeping a few cartons or shelf-stable containers in the pantry gives you more ways to turn the ingredients you already have into a meal. It's less about storing more food and more about making the food you already have work harder. Section 12. Frozen vegetable. Finally, consider frozen vegetables. They can be stored for months, require little preparation, and come in a wide range of varieties. Frozen peas, broccoli, spinach, mixed vegetables, and corn can all make quick meals easier. They're especially useful because you can take out only what you need instead of worrying about fresh produce spoiling within a few days. For a busy household, that flexibility alone can make frozen vegetables a valuable part of the food supply, and when combined with staples like rice, pasta, beans, or canned protein, they can help turn simple pantry ingredients into complete, practical meals. The goal of stocking up before August ends isn't to panic or spend hundreds of dollars on supplies. It's simply about being intentional. Take a look at what your household already eats. Check your pantry and freezer. Notice what's running low. Then, when the price and storage life make sense, add a modest amount of useful staples to your next grocery trip. Rice, beans, pasta, canned tomatoes, canned vegetables, oats, peanut butter, flour, cooking oil, shelf-stable protein, broth, and frozen vegetables can all provide a practical foundation. But you don't need all 12. Choose the foods that fit your household, your budget, and your normal eating habits. And remember, the best emergency food is usually food you already know how to prepare and actually enjoy eating. If this list helped you plan your next grocery trip, subscribe for more practical grocery, preparedness, and money-saving tips. And before you shop, take a quick look through your pantry. You may already have more than you think.